How you doing, everybody? It's Smokey Wolf back at you today with another video. And today's video is going to be about fursuit etiquette. This was requested by one of the local furries in the Kansas City fur group that I am on in the Telegram server. And they wanted me to talk about a little bit about fursuit etiquette. Now, before I get started, fursuits are, like I said, are a luxury item. They're not a necessary thing you need to have. If you guys want to, I'll make a separate video on how to properly save up for a fursuit, or how to get one, or how to commission one. But we're just going to focus right now on fursuit etiquette. Whenever you're at a furry convention, you can find lots and lots of fursuits. I mean, fursuits are cool. I mean, people want to approach, but there's different ways. I'm going to go over the do's and don'ts of approaching fursuits. I'm going to go over the do's. Do approach from the front so they can see you, because us furries do not have eyes in the back of our heads. And if you try approaching us from behind or grabbing us from behind, that can be very dangerous. We can get seriously injured or hurt. We do not want that for our fellow furries. We do not want anyone to get hurt in suit. Because if you get injured in suit where you have to go to the hospital, they will cut you out of suit. They don't care. So anyways, do number 2. I mean, if they're talking, ask for a hug. I mean, if you want to hug a suitor, ask for a hug. But first you want to make sure your hands are clean first. Make sure your hands are clean. And I'm going to go over a don't really quick. Please do not approach us with dirty hands. If you have food or drinks on your hands, please wash your hands before interacting with us, please. Because fursuits can be very expensive to fix. And if you have anything, if your hands are dirty where it has food on it, those stains you can get on our fur, and it can be a pain in the butt to clean. So please keep your hands clean when you're around us, please. Also, if you're gonna ask us, please don't interrupt us in the middle of a conversation. If we're having a talk with fellow furries and you yank us by the hand, and we're in the middle of a conversation with somebody, that is very rude and disrespectful. Please do not do that. I mean, I have been a mascot for quite some time. I have experience, but mascots are different than furries, because mascots, you have to interact with the people no matter what. Furries, you have personal space, and yes, we do have personal space, people. As a fursuiter, we do have personal space. We have the right to say no, but sometimes if we say no to somebody for something, it's usually because we're tired, that we need to go to a headless lounge and cool off. I mean, we don't say it to be rude to you guys. It's just that, though, we need our space. I mean, people could overheat. They have to be able to get to the headless lounge safely without people trying to yank on them, yank on their tail. Because one thing that really bothers me is that yanking on the tail. That's happened to me in my Timon suit. And let me tell you something. Yanking on a tail, it could really damage your suit. It really can. Because, like I said, fursuits are very, very, very expensive. Now, I'm going to do a part 2 after this, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a good one, and be amazing, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is part 2 of Fursuit Etiquette. Apparently, the video editor decided to cut me off on the final part. Basically, what that part was, I already forgot about it already. So the next part of Fursuit Etiquette is, like I said, we're still in the interaction part. I think we covered the basics. So now we're gonna go over some essential do and don'ts of fursuits. I've mentioned a few of them already. So basically, yeah. So like, if you're at a fur con and you want to interact with the fursuiter, I mean that's perfectly fine. But as long as they are cool with it, I mean there are some furries out there that, you know what I'm saying, they still need their space. I mean there are some furries that are like that. I mean furries are different. I mean you don't know the person under the costume, like you don't know who they are. I mean, yeah. I mean, if they tell you no, like, let's say you ask them to try on their fursuit head, or even their fursuit, they have the right to say no to you for a variety of things. I mean, you could be too small, you could be too short, or they just don't feel like letting you trying on the suit, which is perfectly fine. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I mean, I've never had this situation happen to me before, but all I'm going to tell you is that if somebody says no to you to try on their fursuit, then just walk away. It's not worth arguing with them over. They said no for a reason. There's a variety of reasons why people would say no to you trying on their fursuit. There's just a variety of things. If people say no to you for trying on the fursuit, that doesn't give you the right to, like, let's say you're rooming with somebody and they say no, you cannot try on my fursuit. Then that doesn't give you the right. Let's say they're out of the room for a quick second. That means you cannot go in the room and try on the suit anyways, because if they catch you after they say no to you, you can be kicked out of the room. And next thing you know, you're going to either sleep in the hallway, or heck, they might not even take you home. They'll just leave you stranded for yourself. You don't want that. So please, respect people's space. If fursuiters say no to you for trying on their fursuit, then just stop asking them, because you're just going to get the same answer every time. It's going to annoy the hell out of them. They're not going to want to be around you. They're not going to want to interact with you or anything like that. Also, we get that there's some adult parts of the fandom. We get that. Each fursuiter is different. But for me, I mean, I'm not into the adult side of the fandom. But like I said, if someone says no to something like that, like let's say someone starts acting sexual towards a fursuiter, that's not like starts acting sexual, and also speaking of that, now that we're on that topic, please do not touch fursuiters inappropriately, please. If you're hugging a fursuiter, usually a good hug's like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, not any longer. I mean, because if you like try to pick them up and bear hug them, I mean, they're going to get really, really hot and sweaty. They're going to overheat. They're going to scream, maybe fly down for help. I mean, there's just so many scenarios that could happen there. I mean, like I said, they could have back problems. They could have issues in their body. And when you squeeze them really hard, you could cause some damage depending on what their medical condition is, because you have no idea what their medical history is or if they have any medical conditions. So please, if you're going to hug a fursuiter, don't try and pick them up. Just hug them nicely for 2 or 3 seconds. And then you're done. That's all you got to do. And please do not hug below the waist or try to grab the butt or the tail or the crotch area on the fursuit, because that's very inappropriate. Like, how would you like it if someone did that to you? Let's say you were not a fursuiter, and some random dude comes up and just grabs you right there. Like, how would you feel? I mean, you'd want to defend yourself, right? Or get them away from you. Fursuiters are exactly the same. To you, they're mascots, but to them, they're their character, okay? They're their character. And all I'm going to tell you is that they have personal space. And like I said, I'm going to go over the difference right now. Mascots and fursuiters are 2 different things. Mascots interact with people because, you know, they have to. I mean, they're for the company or brand. Fursuiters are personal characters. That's what fursuits are personal characters. Mascots are for companies and brands. Fursuiters are personal. Okay? So therefore, interacting with a fursuiter is the same way as interacting with a human being outside a suit. Like, if you're going to hug somebody, like, ask them first, obviously. That's the right thing to do. It's the golden rule. Always ask before hugging a fursuiter. Because let's say they were wrapping up a dance competition. Let's say they just got done with a dance competition or going to a panel. and they are tired as hell, and they need to get to the headless lounge as quickly as possible. Now, some of them will stop for a hug. I mean, most fursuiters won't say no to a hug, but on occasion, some will because of them being very tired. I mean, they could have been dancing, they could have been partying, they could have been doing all kinds of things in fursuit. Whatever they do in their fursuit is their business, not yours. See, this is another topic I might have to go over about that, but I might squeeze it in. But anyways, fursuit etiquette. Please respect the fursuiter's boundaries and their space, whatever they tell you. If they say no to you, respect that and walk away. Don't try to argue, because you know the last thing we need is drama happening at fur cons. And if you harass, and like if a fursuiter tells you no for something like that, and you continue to harass them, you can get kicked out of the con, for real. I mean, con staff can kick you out. Like, let's say you're yanking on the tail of a fursuiter so hard and it breaks. You know what you know what that means right now? That means that fursuiter has to send their fursuit back to the maker, spending a lot of money to get it repaired, because fursuits cost thousands and thousands of dollars. They really do. They are not cheap. Trust me, they're not cheap. Fursuits are very expensive. People spend a lot of money on them. They really do. And now, how would you like it if someone did that to you? Let's say you were a fellow let's say you. So picture this: you're a fursuiter. Somebody just yanks on your freaking tail. You tell him to stop, and he doesn't stop. And next thing you know, he breaks your suit. It would break your heart, right? I mean, as a fursuiter, it breaks our hearts when careless people damage our suits, because these suits cost lots and lots of money for us to repair. And sometimes makers don't offer warranties, and you have to pay a lot of money to get tails fixed. Sometimes it's hard to get tails fixed. It's really hard. And there are some makers that do offer warranties. It's true. I mean, just please, guys. I mean, you got to show respect for fursuiters. I mean, just please. I mean, if they're talking with somebody, give them their space. Give them their space. Don't yank them by the hand if they're talking to somebody, having a conversation, because that is very rude. Don't grab a fursuiter, but don't yank a fursuiter or try to throw them out of the conversation. Like, don't yank them by the hand and get them away from their conversation. Like, if they're chatting with friends or doing something, leave them alone. Wait till they're done doing what they're doing before interacting. I mean, like I said, mascots. I'm gonna say this again. Mascots and fursuiters are two different things. Don't get them mixed up. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I've seen stories on YouTube about fursuits being damaged and everything because of careless people. Alrighty, guys, we're approaching the end of the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell to get notified about my new videos. You can support me on Patreon. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook. Until next time, be amazing at everything you do. And thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. You guys have a good night.